I quit my job in the middle of COVID, and it was probably one of the best decisions I ever made in my life. At this point in 2024, most of us have probably forgotten that COVID was a thing. COVID-19 came out, and really 2020, everything started to close and just everything changed for the world. And it was a time when everyone was losing their jobs, people were even going homeless, and it was just a rough time for pretty much the entire world. At the time, I was working a normal basic job. I was a barista at a Target. It was a fun job, don't get me wrong. I enjoy making coffee. To this day, I absolutely love coffee, but I was someone that wanted more from life. I wanted expensive things, and I still do. As you can see behind me, I have my BMW M2. Ultimately, I want to drive more expensive cars. I want a very lavish lifestyle. That's just what I want. I want to drive Ferraris. I want to be able to go wherever I want in the world. And that's why I'm working on YouTube. That's why I'm working on other side projects and businesses. And I will go into a little bit of a story time with kind of my background and how it got me here and got me to this car, and ultimately where it's going to take me and how it ties back to COVID. So in 2019, I graduated from the University of Connecticut with my bachelor's degree in business administration. I got my business degree, as many people, and I had high hopes, like many people, that I would find a nice job, that I would make good money right out of college. Ultimately, it didn't end up happening right away. It really didn't. I was comfortable in my job. I was just going to work, going home, going to work, going home, and there was really nothing else to it. I enjoyed my life a little bit outside of work, but there's nothing great, nothing moving forward. And then COVID hit, and places started to close, places started to shut down, people were losing their jobs, people were just going broke, and the opportunity came up for me to quit. I remember the day clear as day. I went into Target, and it was the yearly performance review. And when the time came for reviews, my boss at the time, he gave me a 1% raise and basically said, "You did fantastic, but we want you to keep doing more." And I'm like, okay, cool, thanks, right? 1%, which in the middle of COVID, I guess you can't really complain too much when people are losing their jobs. But as someone who aspired for more out of life, it really didn't do anything for me. It really just kind of demotivated me and frustrated me, and I was so pissed about it. I was so pissed off, and I'm like, no, I'm worth more money than this. Like, I have to be. So the next day, I quit. I quit my job in the middle of COVID the very next day. It was May 18th or May 19th. So middle of COVID, middle of lockdown, I quit my job. I'll go into a little bit of the lesson later on about kind of being prepared for these opportunities to come up, because had I not kind of done a few things ahead of time leading up to it, I probably wouldn't have been in a position to quit and kind of try to move on with my life. So I quit in the middle of COVID because I figured, you know what, it's a good a time as any to leave my current job and try to pursue something better, making better money and just doing something more. And it was really a good opportunity as any. Everyone was spending time with their family during COVID, and I always told myself that'd be the best thing to put on my resume. Like, I left COVID to spend time with the family. Middle of COVID, it is what it is. So resume wise, I had that covered. Again, I decided like it was now or never. Like, if I don't take the opportunity to leave now while the world is kind of changing, the next opportunity might not come for a long, long time. So that's why I quit. I left, and ultimately I was unemployed for 6 months. 6 months, that's a 5, not a 6. 6 months I was unemployed. And it was a fun time during that unemployment. Like, you go hiking all the time, you sit back, smoke a cigar, you enjoy yourself. At least you try to. Obviously the world is suffering, things are changing, there's a lot of uncertainty, you don't know what's going on. But I took a risk, and it sucked because I was unemployed for 6 months. I had no income coming in at all. So then eventually the opportunity came up. I just was sending an application after application, just again and again, and just kept getting turned down for jobs, even though I had this degree. And finally, I got the opportunity. I finally got a chance. There was a company, I'm not gonna name the company just because I still work there. I don't want to tie that into my YouTube at all, so I'm not gonna name them. They gave me an opportunity. I took it, I rolled with it. My income jumped immensely from where I was pre-COVID. Really, it's because I took that risk and quit in the middle of COVID that I was put in a position to really buy the first nice thing in my life, like the first real self-purchased purchase. And that was my black 2017 M240i. I have a couple videos on that car, and then ultimately I traded that in for a BMW M2. Really, had I not taken the chance during the middle of COVID, when people were losing their jobs, when people were quitting, had I not taken that chance when I did, I probably wouldn't have been in the position that I am today. Where I'm at now is just a stepping stone to an end. It's just a means to get where I need to go. But I'm very grateful that I quit when I did in the middle of COVID, when, you know, people were dying, people were losing their jobs, and everyone just wanted security. And I kind of threw that security out the window and just took a shot. I really got lucky. It kind of goes back into one of the big lessons of life and just success, is that you need to understand that a lot of things will come into your life via luck. Luck has a huge part to play in a lot of things. You have to always be improving yourself and preparing for when that lucky opportunity comes your way. For me personally, one of the biggest things that I did from years and years ago was invest money. I knew I had to invest money real early so that later on I can afford expensive things. Like, I had to invest money, there's just no other way around it. So I started doing it, and I amassed a nice amount of net worth by the time I quit my job during COVID. Had I not done that, I probably wouldn't have been in a position to quit and to take that risk. I practiced my interviews, I got my degree, I invested a lot of money to put myself in a good position so when the opportunity came, I could jump on it, and that's what I did. And I think that's a big important lesson, is luck does factor into your life quite a bit, but you have to also understand that you have to be preparing and working towards that future, because if you're not ready for it, that opportunity will come, and just like that, that opportunity will go. And if you don't take the time and do what you need to do to prepare for that opportunity, you won't take that risk, or you might take that risk and it won't work out in your favor. And I'm lucky that it really did, but I was also very prepared for it. So luck had a very small part to play in it. Everything else that led up to it was just my own hard work, my own investing and my own sacrifices of not spending money so that I could have that buffer. Ultimately, I did what I had to do, and I think that's an important takeaway, is prepare for when luck gives you an opportunity. That's the biggest lesson I could give in this video, is take the risk. Like, sometimes you have to take the risk when the world is in an uncertain spot, because that's when opportunity arises, and that's what I did, and that's really my story. If I hadn't quit in the middle of COVID, I wouldn't have had this car. I wouldn't have been able to enjoy some of the things that I've done in the last couple years. Next month, I'm going to see a Formula One Grand Prix for the first time in my life. And if you know anything about F1, it's expensive. Like, I paid like $1,000 for a ticket. I took a risk during COVID, and ultimately it worked out. And I want some of you guys watching this to learn from that and say, I want to work on myself, get myself ready, so when that opportunity to take that risk comes, you could take that risk, and hopefully it works out for you as well as it did for me. You know, I am looking at what's the next move, what's the next risk I have to take, and right now, I guess in a way, part of that is YouTube. You know, I'm investing a lot of time and money into equipment, and just a lot of time that I'm investing into this project and another kind of side e-commerce project that I'm working on. It is in its own way a risk. You spend all this time on this, and it creates an opportunity cost, you know. And for those of you that don't really know much about what opportunity cost is, it's basically the cost of taking one opportunity or spending your time or money on one thing when you could have been spending it on this. If I spent $500 on camera equipment, well, the opportunity cost is $500 that I could have spent in an investment or on something else, or even just enjoying my time. Will this work out in the end? I believe it will, regardless of what endeavor I do. Again, as I said, the main meat is take that risk and be prepared as much as you can for the day that that opportunity comes for you to take that risk. I quit my job in the middle of COVID, and it worked out for me immensely, and it was probably one of the best decisions I ever made in my life. You can't get too comfortable. If you want nice things in life, if you want to move ahead, you have to keep moving. If you can take a risk, take the risk. If you can't take that risk, do whatever you can to prepare for when that opportunity comes and you get lucky and you get that opportunity and you can take that risk. If you like this video, leave me a like, subscribe if you want to see more in the future, and thank you so much for watching. Until next time.